If you're an ESG or sustainability professional, you know the drill. You spend so much time reporting. But what if I told you your real value isn't in documenting the past, but in actually shaping the future? Well, that's the evolution we're digging into today. The big shift from being a reporter of what's already happened to a governor of future impact. So let me start with a question, and it might hit a little close to home. You pour all these hours into data, into reports, into disclosures, but do you ever stop and wonder if they're really changing any decisions? Or, does it sometimes feel like you're just documenting outcomes that were locked in a long, long time ago?
That feeling, it really gets to the heart of the fundamental shift we're talking about. It's about moving from a reactive reporting function to a proactive governance role. It's the difference between reviewing things downstream after the fact and getting upstream to influence the actual decisions. It's about going from just managing disclosures to truly governing outcomes. And that leap, well, it transforms your role from a specialist advisor on the sidelines into a true decision integrator, right at the center of the action.
Now, to really get why this shift is so critical, we've got to look at what's happening inside our organizations. Specifically, this growing gap where high-level policy meets the messy reality of projects. Here's the key insight, right here. A company's biggest sustainability commitments, they aren't just words in some glossy report. They're either made real or they're broken inside its projects. Every single day, small, seemingly minor project-level decisions are being made that have these massive consequences for the climate, for communities, and for your organization's reputation. And let's be super clear, the problem isn't that we lack standards or policies. We've got plenty of those. The problem is structural. It's a gap in the system. There's just no shared framework that plugs sustainability and risk governance right into the moment a project decision is actually being made. And that gap is getting more and more dangerous. Why? Because all of these incredibly high-stakes issues are now crashing together inside our projects. We're making public carbon claims, we're deploying powerful AI systems, and we're facing huge legal and reputational risks. The old model of having specialists just advise from the sidelines, it's just not going to cut it anymore. So how do we fix this? The solution is to govern the decision point itself. And this is the fundamental power shift that the PM 5.0 framework is all about. Okay, so first, let's be clear on what PM 5.0 is. It's not some other complex project management methodology you have to learn from the ground up. Nope, it doesn't replace foundational guides like the Project Management Body of Knowledge, or PMBOK. The best way to think about it is as a powerful integration framework. It's like a layer that connects all these critical domains right at the point of execution. And you can see that integration perfectly here. PM 5.0 acts as the central bridge. It connects the core project delivery principles from PMBOK with the P5 sustainability impact lens and with the risk controls from AI governance and carbon standards like ISO 14064. Suddenly, all these separate conversations are part of one single coherent conversation. And here is the direct payoff for your career. When you use this integration framework, you are no longer just an advisor offering input from the outside looking in. You become a central decision integrator, embedding your expertise right into the digital core of the project. This is a massive, massive shift in your influence and your value. Okay, so how do you practically apply this? It sounds good, right? Let's look at the strategic framework inside PM 5.0 that lets you do this effectively. It's called the P5 Impact Lens. The P5 model gives you this simple but incredibly powerful checklist to evaluate any project decision. You're not just asking about planet, emissions and waste. You're also asking, hey, how does this affect people? What's the long-term impact on prosperity, not just the short-term cost? Does our process have real integrity? And what's the full lifecycle impact of the product we're actually delivering? And this right here is the dashboard where you apply that P5 lens. It's the PM 5.0 canvas, and it's a decision governance tool. It helps the whole team visualize the full consequences of a choice, which helps prevent something called scope lock-in. That's where a tiny decision made early on, like choosing a cheaper, less sustainable material, ends up creating these huge negative impacts down the road that are basically impossible to undo. The canvas forces a much more strategic conversation. It moves everyone beyond the simple metrics of on time and on budget to ask a much, much more important question. Even if we deliver this thing perfectly from a technical standpoint, will it still be a success for the organization's reputation, for its legal standing, and for its ethical commitments?
Let's ground this in a very real, high-stakes example. Just think about carbon reporting. You can't fix your carbon accountability after the fact when you're in the reporting cycle. The boundaries, the assumptions, the data quality, all of that is determined by decisions made deep inside projects. It has to be governed right there at the source.
So let's wrap this up by talking about what this means for you and your career. Because adopting this skill set, it positions you as one of the rarest and frankly most valuable professionals on the market today.
And why is that? It's because the PM 5.0 professional brings together three separate high-demand areas of expertise. You already have the deep sustainability and ESG insight. PM 5.0 helps you connect that with an understanding of AI governance and, the real kicker, the ability to integrate it all within the reality of project execution. This is your new professional identity. Your value isn't just in coordinating reporting tasks anymore. It's in integrating complex, high-stakes decisions. You become the person who actually connects the dots between what the company promises and what it actually does.
And that makes you the solution to what is now the #1 challenge for most organizations. See, just getting things done isn't the hardest part anymore. The real challenge is integrating impact, risk, and value into a single coherent strategy. And that's the problem you'll be able to solve.
So, the final question is really about your own career path. Are you content to keep reporting on what's already happened? Or are you ready to step up and start governing what happens next?
The path forward is really clear. Stop managing the report, start governing the decision. It's time to evolve your career and your impact with PM 5.0. Thanks so much for watching.